Good afternoon everyone, it's the Historical Gamer here. So still not much progress on the actual painting, so I'm going to take you through another one of my display pieces. In fact, my final display piece, I have three that I've done over the years. So before I delve into it, actually it looks really good in this light. That's just by chance, not by any cool lighting from my part. But the actual inspiration for it, I'll take you through that first. So a few years ago, there's a guy in one of my teams who said that he knew I liked painting and kind of military history, and he mentioned that his wife's family, there was in the dim and distant past, a chap called Colonel H.P. Pearson, who was served throughout the Indian Mutiny in the 1850s. And they had all of his letters that he wrote home, so it's kind of a really good historical account of most of the actions. He was involved in most of it, and it, you know, as it went through. And he mentioned I thought it was an osprey when he gave it to me, because it looks very similar in terms of the kind of the red branding and stuff, but I don't think it is. But it was sold in the Royal Armouries, which is I think there's a few around the country, but there's one in Leeds, which is where I'm from. So and this is kind of the book that they made out of it. Someone really studied his letters and looked at the historical significance, and it's a really cool book. So it's nice to kind of dig into this when there's kind of like a bit of a connection. So someone, again, like I said, somebody in my teams, it's their family member. And there's a picture of the actual chap there with his, I'm not much of a medal expert, but I recognise Indian Mutiny badge there. So he was, I'll read you the blurb on the back, actually. I think it's probably worth give it more context. It says here that in 1858, Ensign Hugh Pearson embarked at Chatham for service with the 84th York and Lancaster Regiment in in India, little suspecting that within a few short months he would be taking part in the dramatic events of the Indian Mutiny. His letters to his family, this is what my colleague actually had, published here for the first time, tell dramatic events that unfolded from the first rumblings and unrest at Barrackpore to the shocking news of a massacre at Cawnpore, and the struggle to relieve Lucknow, which is quite famous. Pearson offers a remarkable insight into the career of a young regimental officer in the Queen Victoria's Army, as well as an enticing glimpse of family life. Peace gives him a chance to engage in his favourite pastime, which is shooting. War offers the opportunity for promotion and loot. But as the campaign continues and one by one his comrades fall, Pearson begins to long to return home. It's a really interesting book. Yeah, it's really good. I think I read it quite a while ago now, but all of his letters, he seems to write a letter kind of almost every day, so it's kind of almost blow by blow of everything that happens in the mutiny. So it's really cool, and it just gives me the inspiration I wanted to sort of build something. I'll take you through what we've got then. So it's kind of a sandy scene, and I got these from, I'm going to say, Mutineer Miniatures, who they may have expanded their range, but when they first came out, it was purely for miniatures from the Indian Mutiny. And one of his actions, he storms a kind of a fixed emplacement, and it's one of those kind of classic Victorian adventures where they're storming fixed positions with lots of enemy, with only like a handful of kind of starving, tired, injured troops. It's some incredible feats, and a lot of it, like it says in the blurb on the back of the book, a lot of his comrades actually died throughout the campaign. But anyway, here we go. So these are again, Mutineer Miniatures, York and Lancs British infantry. So got 6 guys there kind of advancing, and there's an officer on the end, which is actually Colonel Pearson, or at the time Ensign Pearson. And we've got a fixed position. I've got some Gambians there, a fairly hefty cannon, and some Indian Mutineers still wearing their red jackets, kind of manning the cannon. And that's from one of the actions in the book where they storm a thing. I'm actually really happy with how the palm trees came out. I bought these from I can't remember where, but like a kind of a scenery set. But I think it gives a bit of kind of depth. The height on there helps with the kind of composition, I think. And a couple of pieces of slate from the garden, which have been dry brushed to death to make them look like kind of big sandy rocks. One thing I will mention, you can tell he's an officer because he's got a sash in this instance, but in the book he actually takes a musket round that grazes the side of his face. That's why I've painted him. I don't know if that shows up. Can you quite see that? Is it focusing? Yeah, you see a bit of blood on the right hand side. That's to represent that, because in that actual, when he stormed that battery, musket round grazed the side of his head, and made him bleed a little bit. So that's on there. I've got an old tree trunk there that's fallen down. But that's it. That's the. I actually did one other one of these back in the day, but I gave it to the person who I painted it for, whereas this one I just kept. But I think it's a quite a cool dynamic pose, or kind of diorama, you know, dug in placement, being charged down, so kind of quite an interesting scene. But again, for me, from my own personal perspective, all the more interesting because of the historical significance, and this represents an actual chap and some of his experiences. Yeah, I need to put this one on display. Actually, it's been in the loft forever. What you can't see is the top of it, the Perspex top, which I just unpicked a load of dust off of. But yeah, I need to put that somewhere I can see it, 'cause it is it's, you know, it's got some meaning to it, which I quite like. But yeah, that's it. So I think it's kind of fired my interest in creating another diorama. I'll have to kind of think of another scene that can fire my interest, I think. But yeah, that's everything I wanted to share. So cool. If you like this sort of thing, please like, comment and subscribe. I'm going to keep stuff coming. A bit busy with the work at the moment, which is why the painting has gone a bit quiet, but that will come back. It always does eventually. Thanks very much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Bye for now.